The last one here, and then we'll finish up. I'm going to stay in LA. I'm going to talk about UCLA for a second. Their win total is at 5.5. I'm saying under. I'm saying no bowl for the Bruins this year. They had a mass exodus in the portal, which normally you would get a second-year bump from a coach, like Deshaun Foster in his second year. Their defense held up the end of the bargain last year, but they're 114th in returning production on the defensive side of the ball. For me, this is just a fade on Nico. And it's crazy. 365 days ago, everyone's talking about Nico at Tennessee in his first year going into, playing the SEC. And it was an up and down season, to say the least. And it was very underwhelming for a lot of people. Against 6 FBS teams with winning records, he was 85th in QBR, 88th in yards per attempt, 80th in completion percentage, and had just 5 touchdowns in those 6 games. So I just think, obviously, with the way he left everything, I mean, it was a bad look, PR-wise, really everything around that. And UCLA bringing in Joey Aguilar from App State, at the beginning of the portal, and then kind of just kicking him to the curb once Nico was like, yeah, I want to play UCLA. Not a good look. That's got to be some bad karma there, right? They got the 5th toughest conference strength of schedule, the 18th toughest in the country. They get New Mexico and Maryland at home, should be W's. They're only favored in 5 games, so that's under the total right there, according to Kelly Ford. 2 of those are almost pick'ems, though. They got to go to UNLV week 2. We know Dan Mullen can do some work with some underdogs there. And they got to go to Michigan State, which he's got them at like a 51% chance to win that game. So that's basically a toss-up there. They got to go to IU, to Ohio State. They got to play USC across town. You need to find 3 more losses. I think that Utah to open the season is a tough one for them. I think Kyle Whittingham's going to be bouncing back this year. Penn State at home is a tough one for them to catch. Obviously, you got to find one more loss, right, to hit that under. The 2 I mentioned before, UNLV and Michigan State. Then they got home against Nebraska, home against Washington. I already like that Washington over, so I think Washington can go in there and they can beat UCLA. So I just don't think on those last 4 games, the UNLV, the Michigan State, the Nebraska, and Washington, they're not going to go 4-0 in those games. So I think it's going to be another tough year for Deshaun Foster and the Bruins this year.
I would hammer that under as well. I'm really down on UCLA, and it's sad because I understand they're such a proud athletic program, but it's not good when your head coach, Chip Kelly, would rather leave to be a coordinator for one of his former players rather than be your head coach. That's not great. Now, they're still going to get a lot of eyeballs on him because of the Nico Iamaleava situation. And look, man, you want to talk about having all the tools? Nico has them. And at the beginning of last year, when he was throwing the football so well and looked great, I was calling that out. And I said, man, this is going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. And he's a young kid. And I had a lot of people, mostly Tennessee haters, right, who said the right thing, but they said it on accident, where they're like, wait till he plays someone good and not just, balling against Chattanooga. And I said, touche, but I don't care if he's doing a lot of this on air, right? Like I've seen it. I've seen how it's supposed to look. And the kid has all the tools. Then he plays the best competition that he can, and he doesn't look great in those games. And the combination of not looking great in the biggest moments combined with his exodus and the way that he left Tennessee, I think has made him somewhat of a villain. And I think that that is somewhat justified, but a lot of people are going to want to tune in to see that. They're going to hate watch, I guess is a term, like, hey, how poorly is Nico going to play? Or if he starts to play well, that's going to be an intriguing storyline as well. Hey, has Nico turned himself around? But the trifecta of going to, I think, a worse team with a worse roster than what you had, with worse coaching, and I've heard making less money. That's like the trifecta of negative, a negative bad move to me. And so I don't know. I would hit the under on that as well. But again, maybe they can figure something else out, and he ends up having a really great year. They're going to need him to sort of be like a Cam Newton type difference maker, I believe, with the mass exodus of that roster to be able to win games, solely by himself at the end. If I'm proven wrong, then so be it. They'll clip this and I'll deal with it accordingly.